Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino does a Smash tier list. This is, so Sakurai has said that Ultimate is going to be the last game that has everybody. He was like, when he was talking about revealing the game, he was like, you know, this is the everyone is here. That was a big deal. But then he was like, you know, this is such a grand scale that you can't really expect us to do this again. So we don't expect them to do it again, or at least we shouldn't expect them to do it again, for the next Smash game, which could be at any point. Like, I think if there's a new Nintendo console, there will be a new Smash game, like, for sure. So it could be, like, 5 years from now, but, like, it's coming. So when it comes, you have to think that, okay, they're not doing Everyone Is Here anymore. So then who's the most likely to come back? Who's the most likely to get dropped? So we're going to do a tier list based on how likely people are to stay versus how likely they are to possibly just never be in Smash again, or at least not be in the next one. So that is a thing. Let me turn that down just a little bit. Okay. So my history with Smash is that I've been around since 64 was a thing, and I played it. I played Brawl for, I played Melee a ton. And then I played Brawl for like 2 weeks, just enough to do Subspace Emissary, and then I never had a Wii U, so I didn't play Smash 4. But I did a bunch of research that I have here in the form of some notes that can help me out with some of the information, like which characters have been dropped in past entries, which came back, which were DLC, so I think I still got a solid basis to do this. You don't even need to talk about, like, most of these. Like, any character that's from a first-party Nintendo game is gonna come back 100%, especially if they've literally been in every single game since the dawn of time. They will 100% be here. So yeah, like, all of you are still here. All of you. Peach, yep, you're still here. Bowser, you're 100% gonna be here. We can just knock all the guaranteeds out of the gate. Or, excuse me. Nope, now we're done. We're done with the guaranteeds for a second. We got Ice Climbers. Here's the deal with Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers were not in Smash 4. They were introduced in Melee. They made it to Brawl. But then I believe the story was that they were gonna be in Smash 4, but because they, like, couldn't work in the 3DS version for some sort of technical reason, they decided to take them out of the Wii U version too, because they didn't want there to be a disparity between the two versions. So from that, it sounds like Ice Climbers was always meant to be a mainstay and never drop. So I feel like that makes it a pretty much guarantee that it's going to stick around, but not a guarantee, so, like, we'll put it in very likely that Ice Climbers will come back. Because, yeah, it sounded like it wasn't a decision they wanted to make, it was one that they had to make. So, from that, you would glean that they're attached to Ice Climbers, they think Ice Climbers are good, and they are. They're pretty good. You know, they're pretty iconic for the series, ever since Melee, at least. So, and people were sad that they weren't in Smash 4. So, I mean, you know, people didn't miss wobbling, I'm sure, but at the same time, it's just one of those sort of nostalgia things, or symbolism things, basically. Zelda and Sheik, guaranteed. 100%, they're not going anywhere. You know, they used to be transformed into one character, then they became separate characters. I think they're gonna stay separate characters, probably forever. That's pretty, yeah. So, yeah, there's nothing to be said about that. Dr. Mario's cool, because Dr. Mario was in Melee, and then he was not in Brawl, and then they added him back in Smash 4. Maybe people wanted him to be in Brawl, and there was a chance, you know, because Brawl never did DLC. This was before DLC was a thing. But Dr. Mario was not Melee, or Smash 4 DLC, he was just added into the base roster. So he must have been pretty, like, sought after, or they just thought that they made a mistake not putting him in. Which makes him have a pretty high degree of pedigree there. I think he goes next to Ice Climbers in terms of being very likely. What kind of German bullshit is this song right now? I just have the Smash, it's a random Smash Ultimate track playlist. I don't know what the hell I'm listening to right now, but we're gonna get through it. Next up is Pichu. Here's the deal with Pichu. He was in Melee, he was not in Brawl. He was not in Smash 4 either, I don't think. And then they re-added him, because Pichu was just everybody is here, so I guess we gotta bring Pichu back, it seems like to me. So I feel like they would get rid of Pichu. I'm not saying, like, specifically they gone, and these are the tiers. We got guaranteed, very likely, likely, hit or miss, unlikely, and they gone. But I don't think Pichu was they gone. I think Pichu is unlikely. It's kind of tough, though, because, like, he was one of the best characters in Ultimate at the beginning, people thought, and then they gave him some nerfs. But then you just wonder, like, did they nerf him beyond ever coming back into another Smash game? Like, I don't know if they would decide it based on how good a character is, or if, how popular they are, or just any combination of any of these things. But I feel like Pichu is probably our first, like, it's sort of unlikely that he comes back. At least in my estimation. I'm trying not to do this based on opinion of, like, how much I like the characters. I want to try and do it from, like, a realistic standpoint, so I think unlikely is good. Falco's been a staple since Melee. He's... I'm trying to think of, like... Are the only ones that are guaranteed the ones that have been in every single Smash game? Or can we do some of the OGs from Melee that started off in Melee and then came through everything? I think Falco's guaranteed. I think he's guaranteed. I don't think they would get rid of him. They got rid of Wolf, and then they brought back Wolf, and Wolf became the super popular character. I think he was a super popular character in Brawl too, but I don't know. It was a weird thing where, like, they took him out and it wasn't clear to me why. But then he came back, and, you know, he's making some waves. People like Wolf. He's a very fun character to use in Ultimate. We got Marth. Marth is guaranteed. No doubt about that. Young Link's an interesting one. Young Link came about in Melee. Then in Brawl, they replaced him with Toon Link. And then in Smash 4, they kept Toon Link alongside regular Link. And now everyone is here, so they bring back Young Link. Young Link seems like an afterthought to the developers of Smash, even though I think he's better than Toon Link. But maybe it's because Toon Link is more relevant, because he's been in a more recent game. Right, because Young Link was like... my lack of Link knowledge is going to show here, but wasn't Young Link in, like, Majora's Mask? And, like, that was his last game? And then from there, like, Toon Link took over into, like, Skyward Sword or something like that. And then regular Link was obviously, you know, coming about and whatnot. And then you could sort of say that, like, Link's Awakening Link is Toon Link a little bit. Not really, but, like, sort of. They sort of look the same. It's a different art style, but, you know. The remake of Link's Awakening, I mean. But so, you know, as much as, like, I think Young Link is a better character and more valuable and worthwhile, I'm gonna say he's hit or miss. I think Pichu is maybe more, like, yeah, he doesn't really need to be in here. But Young Link is more hit or miss, even though there's 3 Links. And I think maybe they don't need 3 Links. But I think if they were gonna drop it down to 2 Links, they would probably get rid of Young Link before they got rid of Toon Link. Even though I don't personally agree with that, I think that's what they would do. I will put Young Link in hit or miss. Ganondorf is not going anywhere. He's a main baddie of the Zelda series. He's got to stick around to combat the likes of Link and Zelda. You know? Mewtwo... Oh, okay, Mewtwo is proof that Smash is not ultimately benevolent in terms of financial decisions. So here's the deal. Melee had Mewtwo. Brawl did not have Mewtwo, right? I believe so. And so then Smash 4 re-added Mewtwo as DLC. So you had to pay for a character that was already in a previous game, and that's, you know, some BS that I never like when I see people do that, but I guess. Dude, looking at, like, the Smash 4 DLC roster, like, it puts it into perspective of us, because, like, you know, we get all hyped for Ultimate DLC, but, like, if you look at Smash 4's DLC roster, it's just straight up trash. It's 3 of them are previous characters we already had that we're just getting back. It's Mewtwo, Roy, and Lucas. So those were 3. That was half your fighter pass, was these non-hype characters that we've already seen. And then they had Ryu, which is pretty good. Ryu is a good character for a DLC. Corrin, which is your Byleth drama, except maybe even worse, because... Well, I don't know. People didn't like Corrin at the beginning, but I think Byleth is at least has some more variety to her. She wields like 4 weapons. I'm excited for Byleth as far as how fun she's going to be to play. She will be fun to play, 100%. And then they had Bayonetta, who broke the game, and they had Cloud, who broke the game. So, Two characters broke the game. Three characters were, this is just old characters, and then 2 characters were so cool, and like, well, 1 character was cool. Corrin maybe wasn't cool, but like expected. But, yeah. So what was I going with that? Oh yeah, so that means that Mewtwo is possibly, well, if they, okay, so this is what we know. We know that Smash, I even wrote this down here because this is an important point to make. We know Smash can and will charge for re-adding old characters back, but we don't know if they do that for characters that were already DLC, like Mewtwo. So people paid for Mewtwo in an old game. We're not sure what Smash's stance would be on taking out characters that were paid for in older games, and then either they never come back or they make you pay for them again, which would just be the worst thing they could do. Like if the next Smash game came out and Mewtwo wasn't in it, but then he was a DLC, like no one would stand for that. So we don't know what their whole thing on that would be. I think Mewtwo, I mean, if you're gonna take an optimistic outlook, I feel like you would hope that they would not make you repay for him. So then you would say that I'm gonna say he's likely to come back. He's likely, because I'm not sure, you know, just how good the intentions of that whole thing would be. Not sure. But I would say likely if we're gonna err on the side of positivity, for me specifically. Then we have Roy, who is basically in the same boat as Mewtwo. He was Smash 4 DLC. He was taken out of Brawl. He was in Melee. Dude, that must have just been like... I mean, people wanted Roy back, I guess, and that's why they gave him back, but... I mean, these sorts of characters I'm gonna say are likely. If they were previously DLC and then they weren't... Or if they previously weren't DLC and then they became DLC and now they're not DLC, I think that they're gonna stay in. We can put that they're likely to stay in. You know, I can talk more about, like, Fire Emblem characters specifically when we get to some more of them here. Mr. Game & Watch is weirdly OG. He's been here since Melee. He hasn't missed a game. He's probably guaranteed, which is weird, but they like him, so I guess so. Meta Knight was Meta Knight not in Smash 4? Oh, okay, I have this. No, he was still in Smash 4. Because Melee to Brawl dropped 5 characters, Brawl to Smash 4 dropped 5 characters. Meta Knight was not one of them, or at least it's not listed here that he was. So, Meta Knight, I think he just got nerfed and then people, like, didn't care. That's sort of the way that it is in Ultimate 2. I think Meta Knight is... I mean, he's stuck around since Brawl, but... I feel like if you haven't been here since at least Melee, then you can't be guaranteed, I don't think. So I would say that Meta Knight is a likely... Yeah, let's say likely. I'm gonna say it's likely that he comes back, because he has been here in the last 3 games, but just getting, like, progressively worse as a character, so we don't know if maybe he'll eventually just get nerfed into non-existence, but... yeah. To deal with that. Pit is very likely. Very likely. Yeah. I think they would... Any franchise that's first party is the main character of that first party franchise is very likely to stay in Smash just for, like, marketing reasons. You know, but within their own company. So, you know. Like, if Meta Knight... If Kirby was Meta Knight and, Kirby had just come around in Brawl and was in the exact same position as Meta Knight the whole time, I would say that Kirby would be guaranteed as a result of being the main character. But because Meta Knight is just an anti-hero, or a villain, I guess, then it's sort of less confirmed. But like any main character of a first-party franchise is like probably guaranteed to stick around. Zero Suit Samus is guaranteed, in my estimation. You know, she wasn't a thing. In Brawl, she was like a use your final smash and then you become Zero Suit Samus, and then Smash 4 was like, nah, Zero Suit Samus is her own thing. And now it's very well cemented that she is her own thing, and I think that that's... And people like that, so... You know, more people use Zero Suit Samus than regular Samus in stuff. So, and she's rated higher in like the tier list and whatnot. So, yeah, think that's guaranteed. Wario is probably guaranteed. I don't think they ditch Wario. I mean, people are talking about them adding Waluigi. It'd be weird if they added Waluigi and then they ditched Wario later. Then they'd have to ditch Waluigi too. But, yeah, I'm not big on Waluigi, but still. Dude, Snake? Why did they get rid of Snake? Brawl to Smash 4 dropped so many good characters. All the characters they dropped were good. Like, they dropped Pokemon Trainer, who's huge in Ultimate now. They dropped Wolf, who's huge in Ultimate. They dropped Snake, who's huge in Ultimate. They dropped Ice Climbers, who's not huge in Ultimate. But is still, like, you know, Ice Climbers was very likely to return. So by that same token, you could say that Snake is now very likely to return. And then they dropped Lucas, who is also not huge in Ultimate, but is pretty underrated in my estimation. But I think Snake... I mean, it's one of those things where, like, they drop the third party. If it's a third party, then maybe they have trouble getting the rights to more than one game. But, I mean, they were certainly able to secure him for Ultimate, so it makes sense that they'd be able to secure him for a later Smash game as well. You know. I think Snake is likely. Because he has that history of he has been dropped before, I think... But because of his surging popularity and the fact that people just like him, I think that it's more than hit or miss that he comes back. More than Young Link, for sure. Ike is guaranteed. Ike is a homeboy, man. Ike is one of the few Fire Emblem characters that nobody doesn't like, because he's one of the OGs. He came in Brawl. You know, he was only the third Fire Emblem character to be added to the game. And he's like a heavy, he's his own thing, he has a completely different fighting style. Like, people like Ike. I like Ike. People like Ike, he's guaranteed. They would never drop Ike. If they were gonna drop a Fire Emblem character, Ike would not be that Fire Emblem character. For sure. Then we have Pokemon Trainer. I mean, Pokemon Trainer's been dropped. In Brawl, there was Pokemon Trainer, and then in Smash 4, they dropped Squirtle and Ivysaur and the Trainer, and they left Charizard, which I guess people didn't like because they brought him back. Or I don't know. I don't remember. Was Charizard good in Smash 4? I have no idea. I didn't play the game, but Pokemon Trainer... I feel like the Squirtle, Ivysaur, Charizard mishmash is so important now that, you know, people thought it was weird that Charizard was by himself. They wanted, like, him to be part of this trio pack of dudes. And a chick, because Ivysaur's a chick. But I think... I don't believe that makes him guaranteed, but I do believe that that makes Pokemon Trainer likely to return. I think that's fine. I think that makes sense. Diddy Kong... Diddy Kong is very likely to return. I think Diddy Kong... You know, the Donkey Kong is a Mario series, if you ask me. It's a Mario spin-off. It is akin to Mario. It is adjacent to Mario. It is not quite as important as Mario, but it's like, it's cut from the same cloth. And as such, I don't think they would cut characters from such a gigantic franchise. You know, it's like Donkey Kong is Mario's, like, cousin franchise. It's like, hey, you know who my cousin is? You trying to come up at me like that? I'll call my cousin. You know, you don't want me to call my cousin. So it's like that. And, so Diddy Kong, I don't think they would cut anybody from the DK series. I think Diddy Kong is very likely to come back. But I can't say that it's guaranteed. Next up we have Lucas. Lucas, who has been dropped and then re-added as a DLC character. This must have been a horrible DLC announcement. Like I said, like, Ultimate DLC wishful people were so fortunate because it used to not be this good, man. It used to just be like, oh, it's Lucas. Why is it Lucas again? So, yeah. But I think Lucas is probably... Dude, it's actually hit or miss. They could get rid of him. They got rid of him once, but then they brought him back, but then they could get rid of him again. Earthbound is not, like, a huge franchise. I know it's a cult classic and whatnot, but You know, but that's, you know, Ness is like the OG, and that's why he's been in every game. Lucas is sort of just like a B-team sort of person. And I mean, I know nothing about Earthbound, so you can take everything I say with a silo of salt, but... yeah, I'd say hit or miss on Lucas. Which is a shame, because Lucas is a good character. I like him. I like him more than I like Ness. I think Lucas is still underexplored. But, Sonic is very likely, because any third party I can't really put in guarantee, because it's like, whoa, what if some bullshit happens and they don't get the rights? But I'd say very likely. If they can put him in, they will. Like 100% on that. King Dedede is very likely. I also don't think... Like, as far as villains go, who's more iconic, Meta Knight or King Dedede? Because I'm not super good with Kirby franchise lore. Like, who's more important, King Dedede or Meta Knight? I feel like... I don't know. I think King Dedede is more of like a fleshed out character. I think he's more his own thing. Whereas Meta Knight's sort of just like Kirby with a sword. But King Dedede is not only floaty, but also he's heavy, and he has a giant hammer, and he has all this stuff. But I don't know. They would not get rid of King Dedede in my estimation. He would go in very likely tier. Olimar is a first-party Nintendo platform main character. That means he goes into guaranteed. That is what that means. So, you know, whatever you feel about it. I personally hate Olimar. I'm not good with him. I don't like fighting against him. He's an annoying character through and through. And he takes too much brain power for me to play. Like, whenever I'm switching Pikmin, like, I'm still at the part where I have to stare, like, which Pikmin is in front? I can't tell! So, yeah, that sort of holds me back from him being good to me, specifically. Lucario is... Dude, they could drop Lucario, and I'm not sure there would be much fallout. I'm not sure that Lucario is a mainstay in this game. He's just, like, if you want a floaty Pokemon that's sort of big, then you have Mewtwo. Like, I think Mewtwo... Because Mewtwo's in this game, I don't think they needed to add Lucario. Like, I didn't think Lucario ever needed to be in Smash. But... And, like, they both have the freaking Aura Sphere as a Shadow Ball. They're the same thing. And I don't like Lucario. I also hate his fighting style. I would put him in hit or miss tier. I mean... It's a first part... Yeah, it's a first part. Well, here's the deal. It's like, Lucario isn't even a special Pokemon, really. Like, of all the Pokemon there are, Lucario is the least important of all the Pokemon. Because Lucario's not a legendary. He's like a pseudo-legendary, but he sorta isn't. I don't know, he's just kind of like one of the... He's just like this... He's a symbolic Pokemon. But like, whereas every other Pokemon is at least a starter, which makes them a main character, basically, or is iconic, like Pikachu or Jigglypuff. You know, the only Pokemon who's less important than Lucario is Pichu. But at least Pichu is related to the most iconic Pokemon, so he sort of gets... like, adjacent, like, nepotism points, basically. Pichu is here because of nepotism. Whereas Lucario has nobody to lean on. But that's just my personal feelings for Lucario. That doesn't, I can't use that logic to put him in the they gone tier. But, so I would say, like, it's hit or miss. Like, they could drop him, and I don't think people would care that much. So, they might. Then we have Rob. I think Rob is... not guaranteed. I think he's very likely. I don't see them getting rid of him, because I think he's a very, like, important member of the franchise. Or of the series, of Smash Bros. Because he's very good, he's very original, he's his own thing, definitely fills, like, a useful slot. You know, no one really fights like him. But he doesn't have very much recognition, you know. But I still think it's very likely, just because there's no reason to drop Rob of any people. You know, there's characters you drop before you drop Rob. Toon Link is very likely, unfortunately. You know, again, if it were up to me, Toon Link would be they gone, because I actually just want him gone. If people have to go and I had to pick, like, a certain number of people to go, like, I would put Toon Link in the they gone. But as far as actual reality is concerned, there's no reason for them to drop him, unless they replace him with, like, a different, like, a Link's Awakening remake sort of Link, or whatever other Zelda game they release in the future that might come out before the next Smash Bros. Game. So he could be replaced with, like, a more recent iteration of himself, but if not, then it'd still say that he's very likely to come back. Dude, what's their deal with Wolf? What's wrong? Wolf is beloved. They dropped Wolf, and then he came back with a vengeance. He was like, how dare you disassociate yourselves with me? I'm gonna go be top tier in the beginning. But at the same time, he's like, I don't know, he's not, I'm not sure about Star Fox. He's like he's not a main villain. He's more like like Andross is who I think of when I think of Star Fox villain, like the first one. If Wolf is just sort of like this lesser antagonist, then I can understand why they might think that he's not that important to put in Smash. But he's really good for Star Fox representation, and he's different enough that he's good, I think. But it really is hit or miss whether he comes back or not, because he's been gone before. So, like, I say this with a heavy heart, because I would love to put him in Guaranteed if it was up to me. But there's a solid chance that he could be gone. Villager, Animal Crossing keeps adding new entries. There's no way that Villager leaves ever. He is a mainstay for all of Smash's existence, as far as I can tell at this point. Mega Man, very likely, but they could lose the rights. They don't even, like, he doesn't have a voice because somebody died? Is that what happened? Like, the Japanese voice actor for Mega Man died, so that he just doesn't... I mean, in that case, if they don't replace him, then maybe... I don't know, in the next Smash game, they could have Mega Man who actually has a voice. That would be cool. But if not, maybe they'll just... Or maybe as, like, an honor thing, they would, like, never get rid of him. I'm not sure. But he's also third party, so he can't really be guaranteed. Wii Fit Trainer. Probably not going anywhere, but I would say very likely because, I mean, it's Wii. Like, it's... The Wii franchise, like, is that even a real franchise? Like, Wii Sports, Wii Fitness, or whatever the actual game that they're from is called? Like... do those count as a franchise? Like, I'm not sure. I don't know... So, did they have staying power from, like, that sort of thing? Or is it just kind of like a big deal? Who cares? When the Wii becomes irrelevant, so will this character. I mean, I guess Rob didn't become irrelevant when his system died. So, who's to say? I guess that means... I would still put her in very likely. It's not like she's... I mean, nah, she's probably... no. If there's any room for doubt, then I have to not put him in guaranteed. Rosalina is guaranteed. I don't think they'd ever get rid of Rosalina. Little Mac? Well, let's see. Little Mac's the worst character in the game, apparently. So... And has always been bad? So it's like... You wonder if they'll just give up on Little Mac, or if they'll rework him entirely for a future game. And try and make him come back with a vengeance. I feel like he's hit or miss. I think they could drop him, and it would be all right. I would I would drop Little Mac personally. And if you didn't want to like completely rework how he plays, I would say that yeah, you could drop him. Greninja is guaranteed. All the Pokemon really are guaranteed, except the 3 Pokemon that are not guaranteed that I said because of reasons. Oh, make that 4, Pokemon Trainer. But Greninja's... I don't know, Greninja is sort of iconic now. Like, as far as starters go, he's one of the most important starters. Like, I would say that right behind Charizard, and really just any... Like, right behind Squirtle, Ivysaur, Charizard, Greninja's the next most important starter Pokemon. Just in terms of, like, he just... The splash that he made in the scene and, like, in the anime and the Pokemon and whatever, like, he's important. I don't think they get rid of him. The Mii characters? All the Mii characters... I mean... For as long as there's Mii's, there's gonna be Mii characters. God damn it, they're all... I can't say they're guaranteed, though, because they may change, distinctions, so, like... Or maybe they just completely get rid of them. Do you think they get rid of the Mii people like that custom... Like, Mii characters are for 12-year-olds. Like, that's actually what it is. And, you know, Nintendo does cater to children, so I feel like it's probably very likely that all three of them come in. But I can't say guaranteed, because you never know if Nintendo's going to introduce some other method of, like, creating your own avatar, and then they do that instead. But, you know, Mii's have been a big deal for a while. So even if you don't like them, you can't really present a good case for why it's unlikely that they would be in future games. Palutena is on the level as Pit. If Pit comes back, Palutena's coming back. For sure. They're the same thing. Dark Pit could leave, and nobody would care. Dark Pit could go. They could just make Dark Pit a skin for regular Pit, really. And, like, that's something that could happen, so I would say hit or miss. But I'm not confident enough to say it's unlikely that Dark Pit comes back. In fact, I'm not confident enough to say that for most of these characters, but... So, like, it's like these two tiers are maybe not even necessary, but... Pac-Man's very likely. Very iconic. Third party, which means not guaranteed, but you know. Here's the deal. Lucina is... I mean, they've, like, bet their money on Lucina, and it's weird. Because if any Fire Emblem character was to go, I would say it would be Lucina. Because every other Fire Emblem character is either the main character... Or, I mean, really the main character, actually. Or the avatar, which is the main character. Like, the main character, or, like, the main character that's not the avatar of the main character. So, like, Robin is the main character, but Chrom is the main character, right, of Fire Emblem Awakening. And we exist just to help him achieve his whatever. So, that's what's sort of weird about that. Whereas Lucina is Chrom's daughter, who is not actually really important that much. I mean, like, as far as the plot goes, Lucina's the only reason we can win the game. And, like, you know, succeed in our endeavors, because she comes back through time to, like, warn stuff and whatever. But Lucina she's really just sort of a side character. Do you know what I mean? Or she's like a rival character. Like, she's a secondary character who has importance and significance to the plot, but is still a secondary character. Like, Isabelle is a secondary character. Villager is the main character. Isabelle is a secondary character. But Isabelle's in Smash also. So, I don't know. It's weird to think about. I'm trying to think of, like, a similar situation, and I sort of can't. Like, is Ken a secondary character? Like, yeah, but he's also an Echo Fighter, so that's... And Lucina's an Echo Fighter. I just feel like Lucina could go, but it seems like Nintendo is overvaluing her. So, with that estimation... Because all these other Fire Emblem characters, like, they have some uniqueness to them. The only difference between Lucina and Marth is the tipper mechanic, which does make them play very differently, and it puts them in different spots on tier lists, but it's not like... I don't know. I feel like Lucina's hit or miss. I feel like if there was a Fire Emblem character that could go, it could be Lucina. Even though she has more OG points than, say, Chrom, who could also probably go, but I would prefer that he didn't, because he's actually a main character. Like, these two characters are from the same game, but Chrom is more important than Lucina is in that game. So, like, yeah. So, alright. Robin is guaranteed. Every main character Fire Emblem game is character is guaranteed. Robin, that means Corrin is guaranteed, whether you like it or not. That means Byleth is guaranteed. So yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, like the avatars, like they're supposed to also be sort of Mii's a little bit, like an extension that you can customize it and then you're that person. So Robin feels like a you kind of character. But yeah, you know, they're really hype over Fire Emblem, which they should be. It's a great series. Fantastic series, in my estimation. Let's see, Shulk. I mean, Shulk, it depends. Xenoblade's getting a remake or whatever, or like a port, or like maybe they're doing some kind of sequel also. Again, like you have to think about the timeline of when the next Smash would even come out. Like if it was 5 years ago, then, or 5 years from now, then them doing a remaster of Z Chronicles next year doesn't hold much water as far as that goes. I think, but it's a first-party Nintendo franchise, so that means it's guaranteed. That's right. Sometimes I keep making it more complicated than it really is. They wouldn't get rid of Shulk. They would not do it. Bowser Jr., if it's a Mario character, it's guaranteed. They don't take out Mario characters. Do they take out Mario characters? Well, they took out Dr. Mario. But other than that, they don't take out Mario characters. Right? Yeah. I mean, they don't take out Mario characters that aren't direct clones of other Mario characters. I guess you can have that be the rule. And Bowser Jr. is not anybody's clone. Bowser Jr. stick around. Bowser Jr. is like 9 clones of himself, actually, if you count all the Koopalings. So that's them. Duck Hunt. I feel like they don't. I feel like they don't take them out. First party Nintendo, they don't take them out. You know, we have to think about the roster sizes too. So, Smash 64 had 12 characters. Melee had 25. Brawl had 35. Smash 4 had 55 post DLC. And Ultimate now has 80 when Byleth gets here. So, if you would think of the next Smash game where they're not bringing everybody back, how many characters that would be? I would think that they would at least do more than Smash 4, so I would say 65. I think the next Smash game is going to have 65 characters. Or 60, maybe. 60 or 65, like that range, I think that's a good range. Because, you know, Melee increased Smash 64's count by like 11. Then Brawl increased Melee's count by 10. Then Smash 4 increased Brawl's count by 20 because they had a new console to work with. They could put a bunch more people in. And then Switch increased that by 25 so far. It's going to be even more by the time the things actually ended because they had a new console to work with. And so if you think about there being a new console to work with when the next Smash comes out, then you can maybe even see the number increase more than that, but then they were also saying that they wouldn't be able to do Everyone Is Here again. Maybe they will go back on that if they see, like, the power of the newest console. Or maybe it's not a power thing, maybe it's just a time and resources thing. If they've been doing this strain for such a long time that it's really wearing on them, then they might not think that it's worth it even if they have the capacity. So then, in that case, I still think 60 to 65 is reachable, approachable, likely. So as a result of that, they would have to... I mean, they would have to take out like 20 or 30 characters because they would add like 10 or 15 new ones. So that would create the difference. So we'll, at the end, we should count like who's in the hit or miss or unlikely and see if that accounts for that amount of numerical stuff. I think Ryu is very likely. Very likely they keep him. Use a DLC character. You know, if they're just a DLC character, I think it's very likely they stay in. I'm trying to think, make sure there's no exceptions here to what I just said. There is not, except for Lucas, but that's because he was already there and then they dropped. So that's what makes the difference. Ryu's never been dropped, he's just been added, which means Cloud is in the same boat, he's very likely. Corrin is a Fire Emblem main character, which means they're guaranteed. And by the way, you know, 5 years from now, there's another Fire Emblem game, that main character is going in Smash. You know it. Like, don't lie to yourself about it. It's gonna happen. So, Bayonetta is very likely. Inkling is guaranteed. Inkling's guaranteed to stick around. First party Nintendo, you're 100% gonna be in there. Daisy, they could take out Daisy like they took out Dr. Mario. So I think it's actually hit or miss that she stays. I think she might go. It might even be unlikely. I think it's unlikely because no one's excited for it. Like, this doesn't matter. Echo Fighters, no one cares about them. Like, they really don't. Unless they're super popular, which I guess Daisy is, like, popular, but you can also just... I mean, they had the Daisy skin with Peach for a while, but that just looked like an abomination, so... I just feel like well, if they want all 3 princesses in Smash, then let's say that it's hit or miss. You know, if Peach is guaranteed and Rosalina is guaranteed, then by that estimation, Daisy is probably a shoo-in, but also there's always the chance. I would say that she's hit or miss. Ridley is a new character just added to Ultimate. I don't see him leaving. I think he's a good addition. I think he's a good pick for, like, the Metroid franchise. You know? Like, he feels... Like, it's good. Like, you know. I think, well, we're not there yet, but we'll get there. Ridley is a unique character, so, like, yeah, he's very likely to come in. Simon and Richter are both... They're both very likely. I think it's possible one of them might drop. If there's a new Smash game. But I don't think both of them would drop. And even though Richter is more pretty boy, like, I think... here's what we're gonna do. Simon is very likely, Richter is hit or miss. That's what I'll do with that. I think that's fine. I don't think Chrom is going anywhere. Chrom is guaranteed. He's a main character. Like, he's not the Avatar, but he's a main character. You know, I mean, in Path of Radiance, you play as Ike. There's no Avatar. Marth and Roy, they're the main characters. There's no Avatar. Well, I mean, technically, there's, well, I don't know. Is the whole, like, tactician thing, is that in Marth and Roy's Fire Emblem games, too? Like it is in, like, Lynn and Eliwood and Hector's one? I don't know. But regardless, I think Chrom is guaranteed. Again, if they were going to drop anybody... I feel like it's more likely that they would drop... Is it more likely they would drop Roy than Chrom? Probably not. Probably not. But I still don't think they're going to drop Chrom. If they're going to drop anyone, it's going to be Lucina. Maybe Roy again, although he's a DLC character, so probably not. Like, they dropped him once before, and they were like, okay, we'll bring him back. So that's tough. Like, some of these, they require some brain power. There's some extended thought. How long have we been going for? 43 minutes? Goddamn. Okay. I think Dark Samus is unlikely. I don't think Dark Samus is sticking around. Dark Pit... I don't think Dark Pit's sticking around. I think we gotta move... You know, we gotta make some ballsy plays here, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta, you know, stop being on the fence. We gotta take a stand and say some of these characters ain't getting in. But I guess that would put them in the they gone tier. Fuck Dark Samus. They gone. Why are you here to begin with? Alright, you know what? Pichu's gone. The only reason Pichu's not they gone is because he's so good in Ultimate. But actually, he's gone. They nerfed him out of relevance. He doesn't matter anymore. Dark Pit is unlikely. Dark Samus and Pichu, they gone. I'm gonna say... Oh, well, let's not go out of order. King K. Rool is very likely on the same level that Diddy Kong is. Yeah. So they should be in the same tier like that. Isabelle is very likely. I really... Isabelle sorta is the main character. It's like the Chrom and Robin aspect here, where Isabelle is sort of the main character, but we're the avatar. Because she does everything in that town, man. But, I don't know, would that make her guaranteed? I mean, she is still sort of an Echo Fighter after all, but she has, like, pretty different moves. I'll just say very likely on that. Let's see, where did I put Ryu? Ryu was very likely. That means Ken is... They could drop Ken if they wanted to. I think Ken's better than Ryu. I prefer to play Ken than Ryu for sure. But they could drop him, so I'll put him as likely. Out of in some form of respect. Let's see. They could drop Incineroar. I think he's a really good addition to this series. I think he fulfills like this wrestling niche that wasn't here before the whole time. You know, so I think he's a good character. He's a good choice. But by the time a new Smash comes out, he could be so irrelevant that it doesn't matter. Because here's the, like, okay. Greninja has staying power as a result of his powerful anime arc. And, like, the whole Ash Greninja thing. And, like, he's become a big deal. He's one of Ash's strongest Pokemon ever. Incineroar's just the Gen 7 starter. That's really all he's got. So I think they could drop him. I would put him in hit or miss. They could drop him and replace him with some other Pokemon down the line. Like, whoever the next starters are. But yeah. I honestly hope... I like Cinderace. I hope they put Cinderace in Smash. I'd be down for that. Or they did some sort of Pokemon trainer thing with Cinderace and Inteleon and Rillaboom. Like, that would be pretty good. Or any of their previous forms. You know, whichever. I think Piranha Plant is gone. I don't think... I know he's a Mario character, but, like, barely. And also... He's a DLC character, but he's free. Like, you just had to pre-order the Fighter Pass or something and you got him. And then he doesn't do much, and he's really annoying. And I think they could drop him. And if they wanted to make room for more Mario characters, this would be the first one they dropped. If they had to drop a Mario character. I would say the Piranha Plant's gone. Yeah. I think Joker... I think Joker's guaranteed. They're gonna do everything they can to keep Joker in Smash. Because he's such a good representative. Joker is a top-tier DLC character. Like, he's probably the best DLC character there's ever been. As far as, like, just his significance and importance and everything that they assimilated with him that they brought into Smash. Like, he's just one of the best transitional fighters that's come in and just immediately, like, felt at home here. Like, every DLC character should aspire to be what Joker is. So I think they would do absolutely everything in their power to keep him. Yeah. That's what elevates him above some of these other DLC characters. Hero, Dragon Quest, Square Enix. Dragon Quest is important, but they could drop Hero. But he's a DLC character. Again, like, we don't know if they would drop DLC characters. If they would drop DLC characters, they would drop this DLC character. And they would add whoever the latest Dragon Quest person is. Assuming that series is still going on, which I think it is. But yeah. So I guess with that, you say hit or miss on Hero. You know, leave some opportunity on either side. Banjo is very likely. Yeah. That's as far as I'm gonna go with that. I feel like they're gonna introduce a mascot that blows Banjo out of the water. If Crash Bandicoot comes in, he outshines Banjo. And then Crash becomes, like, the main, like, ooh, OG nostalgia platformer, whatever, person. And so then they do everything they can to keep Crash in games, and then Banjo sort of falls a little bit by the wayside. But I still think it's very likely that they would bring him back. I'm gonna say it's likely they would bring him back. He's not very good in Smash. He doesn't really make much of an impact. Like, he's just he's one of those DLC characters who's just kind of there. Terry? I mean, Terry is good. Terry is maybe better than Ryu and Ken. Possibly. Or just the same or something. Like, he fits into Smash. He is also transitioned pretty well into Smash, I think. I would say... I'll just put him in very likely for that as a result. And then Byleth is guaranteed. They would never drop Byleth. Not in a million years. Main Fire Emblem character, not happening. And that's basically what we got going on here. You know, it's not as exciting on the lower end as I would have thought. But let's, you know, we're not quite done here, I guess. Like, let's take a look at the numbers that we have. So guaranteed, we have how many people? 3, 6, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 36. 36 guaranteed people in Smash. That's pretty good. I mean, there's going to be like double that in whatever the next game is, so... and then very likely there's 3, 6, 7, there's like 23. So, okay, and then likely is fine. If you take everyone from likely and up, so you've got, what was it, 36? 36 plus 23, 59. 59 plus 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. So you got 66 characters. That's one above the threshold that I said it would be. And then if you deleted every single one of these characters down here, you would still have to delete at least 10 characters from up here to account for the new 10 characters that they would add to the new Smash game. Just out of the gate. Which means I guess that you would have to move... You would have to pick, like, 10 characters from guaranteed, very likely, likely, and move them downwards. And I guess that you would start by doing that from the likely thing. So from there, you could say that they're possibly done with Ken, and they could move him to hit or miss, and then they replace Ken with Terry, who people already sort of said was just Ken wearing a hat. Even though they don't look, you know, that close to the same. But you could say that they would drop Roy again, but maybe... I don't know, Fire Emblem characters, it really just doesn't seem like they drop any of them. No matter what people said about it. I think either Cloud or Bayonetta could go. But they were DLC, so it's tough. Like, just realistically, from my estimation. They could drop Snake. I think Snake is hit or miss. You know, just because I think he's good doesn't mean anything. Just because other people like him doesn't mean anything, really. They could hit or miss. I would drop Banjo into hit or miss. Pokemon Trainer, I think, is more likely to stay. So then we move up to, like, here. It's possible that they could drop Wii Fit Trainer. It's possible that they could drop all three of the Mii characters, really. But I think the customization options are important to them. It's possible that they could drop... It's possible they could drop Isabelle. It's possible they could drop Mega Man. Mega Man's sort of more important than that, I suppose. I mean, it's possible they could drop Dr. Mario again. But I'm gonna say that it's possible they could drop... Probably nobody from Guaranteed. Probably nobody from Guaranteed. It's possible they could drop Toon Link and replace him with whatever new Link they have. So we could put him in hit or miss. I think they like Ice Climbers too much to drop them. I think they like Dr. Mario too much to drop him, which is weird, but that's where we're at. I don't think they drop anybody from DK. I don't think they drop anyone from Kirby, because Kirby is, like, Sakurai's favorite character, I think. But maybe he's not too attached to the villains, who knows? I think Bayonetta is hit or miss. I think Cloud is hit or miss. If they dropped Roy again, they'd really have to keep him dropped. Because they already dropped him once, and then they resold him back to you. If they were to drop him again, and then resell him back to you, oh, that would bring the hammer down from the community. And people would be going ballistic. So, I don't know. We may have reached a threshold in the Smash community, cerebrum, where the hype for Smash characters is so high now that it's impossible for them to introduce an old character ever again. Perhaps. Or maybe if they try to, they'll get backlash so hard that they'll have to, like, make changes. But who's to say? So yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 gone. Which brings us to 69. And then we would need, like, 5 more characters to go. So if I were to say 5 characters from these franchises, it's possible that they get rid... I really don't think they'd get rid of Palutena. I really don't think so. You know, there's not a lot of girls in Smash Bros. I don't think they'd get rid of many... Well, and then I have, like, 5 girls down here. Okay, so that argument's bullshit. But I still don't think they get rid of Palutena. They might get rid of Isabelle. If she just wanted to be in Smash for, like, a vacation. She's like, alright, I'm done. Bye, guys. Got my ass beat. But I also beat some ass, so it's a win-win. Yeah. I think Mewtwo doesn't go anywhere. Pokemon Trainer might leave and then get reworked. Like, they might introduce, like, a different Pokemon Trainer that then trains with, like, the Cinderace or whatever Gen 9 Pokemon come out before the next Smash game comes out. So let's say that Pokemon Trainer is hit or miss. Let's say that... Honestly, let's say that Meta Knight is hit or miss. Keep King Dedede, but let's say that Meta Knight is hit or miss. Let's say that... I think Terry and Ryu stay. I think they do. I'm not sure that they would delete a whole franchise. I mean, have they done that before? Well, yeah, they deleted Snake. So they deleted Metal Gear Solid from the entire roster. They deleted Ice Climbers, but they didn't want to. They deleted... Nope, that's the only one where they deleted a single character who was the sole representation of his franchise. So, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't do it again, I guess. I feel like they could get rid of... I don't know, Pit's been here since Brawl. I think that's it. Maybe my initial estimate is off. Instead of doing 60 to 65 characters, they do 65 to 70. Because they'll find this renewed vigor to appeal to the masses after they... Because, you know, I mean, public reception is like a drug to these people. And by these people, I mean anyone who makes games. So, you know, you can say that you're at your limit. You can make that claim, but then every time you see the roar of applause, every time you see the hype videos online, the compilations of people jumping out of their chairs at something that you did, it makes it all worth it to them. So I think we'll say that this is it. We'll say this is the tier list. I don't know, like, I guess Lucina really sort of is likely still. As much as I want to say, there probably shouldn't be any Fire Emblem characters below hit or miss. So are there any more in here? No, okay. And that's gonna do it for this tier list. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino. Consider becoming a channel member if you want to support the channel financially. That's always nice on a monthly basis. Super appreciate that. And I will see you guys next time.